Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network, for the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews. Press 1.
Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes Know, you are now a member of the Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you, always.
Welcome to Jedi Alliance episode 37 here, April 27, 2015. Well, like 235 days until we get to see Star Wars in the theaters again. I think that count is correct. I'm Ken Napzok, your host here for Jedi Alliance, a celebration of the greatest saga ever told. And joining me are three very wonderful, passionate Star Wars fans, two returning to the show, and one joining the Alliance for the first time. Megan Finley is back from Offbeat Home, Offbeat Life, Offbeat Bride, Offbeat what?
All that.
All that?
Offbeat Empire.
Offbeat Empire. You have joined the Empire today, here to talk with us. You were on, when was that? September?
Yeah, I don't know.
We reviewed the Rebels.
My hair was here.
It's not in your diary?
No, my hair was this long.
That's how I go, by hair growth.
Hair growth?
Funny.
I go
Kindred
by hair loss. So I know. Jennifer Landa is back.
Yes.
You were busy celebrating at Celebration.
Yes, I was. Standing in a lot of lines.
Yeah.
Buying a lot of good stuff.
Your toy backpack filled up pretty quick like mine.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And clothing.
And
Her
clothing?
universe. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah.
love fine. Too
Great
much good
stuff. Great stuff. We're going to talk about that. I'll give you a chance to recap Celebration as well. And your video is up. We put it out there for our fans to see, too. You had a lot of fun there. I loved you laying on Jabba with your selfie stick. It was perhaps...
I had to. He was there.
I love
Hey,
it.
Jabba, no selfie. And joining us finally, because we got a lot of requests for it, because she is a Jedi,
Kind of a Jedi.
Miri Jedeikin is here. Miri the Jedi.
Hey, hi guys. Thank
Welcome.
you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
People have been asking.
Well, I heard the requests and
Yeah.
I'm here.
You've heard-
I'm very happy. I've heard them in my.
You heard the call, the call to action
Yes.
from all the fans out there. So we have a wonderful group of Star Wars fans here today. So we're going to dive in here with some of the 5 most important questions, which you get now for the first time. And then also, I enjoyed a couple weeks ago when Joey and Joe took some different questions from the fans out there. And I figure we're going to do that here and have some bonus questions so we get to talk a little bit more Star Wars. And then we're going to dive into a little topic later today that this wasn't what I intended to go with, and all of a sudden prepping for the show I went, hey, we should do this, and then I had a conversation with myself because I'm an idiot. It is going to be favorite minor characters from the Star Wars universe. We have 2 on the panel that they're the leading members of one fan club.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. Okay.
We're going to form a little group, and then we're going to discuss that in a very militaristic duel of the fates today. That's where we're going to go, but I am talking too much. I want to hear from you, Miri, the Jedi.
I'm the hot seat.
The 5 most important Star Wars questions, and you two join in and help share.
Please join in.
Yeah.
Don't leave me here all by myself.
They've had to answer these ones before.
I know. I'm
So
sure.
tell us about your first time seeing Star Wars.
Well, the interesting thing for me, and I have to give a shout out to my brother David, who is a few years older than me, and he remembers seeing Star Wars in the theater, and I was born after Star Wars was in the theater. So I grew up with an older brother who I was very close to, who was a gigantic Star Wars nerd.
Right.
So I don't actually remember the first time I saw any of the 3 films because they were always on in our house
On constant rotation?
VHS. So it's almost like part of my limbic brain, like early pre-memory brain.
Yeah.
So whenever I see Star Wars or Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, 4, 5, and 6, for a long time they all kind of melded into one because I was little and didn't have an understanding of linear storytelling yet. But
Right.
then as I got older and I would start watching them in sequence, it was a very interesting way to be introduced. It was very organic. And I think it's interesting now because a lot of people are talking about The Force Awakens and when should I introduce my kids to the Star Wars
Right.
stuff. And for me, there was no one age because I had older siblings. Stuff was on all the time. So I actually I don't remember life without Star Wars.
Wow, that's deep.
Lucky
Yeah.
you.
Now,
I know.
I know.
There was always Star Wars.
I know because I know you're the oldest sibling in your crew,
Yes.
so you didn't have anyone other than your folks to pass it on, or just yourself.
Yeah, I'm the eldest sibling
Yeah.
too. So it was my dad basically.
Right,
He's a really big movie buff.
which is what we discussed. So
Yeah.
how did that feel? Your brother, did he like sit you down, or did you just through osmosis?
Sometimes.
Was there any point where he was like, all right, now you've watched it, but now you really have to watch it?
No, I just remember, because it wasn't just the films. Like he had all the toys. He had the AT-ATs, and I think David, you're gonna have to remind me this later. I think he had the TIE fighters. I mean, he had like all the gear, and I used to play with him with the dolls, and then we would watch it. And so I don't think it was ever like he sat me down, but he was certainly my portal through which
Does David still have all these toys?
David?
And stuff? Can I go hang out with
He's
David?
he's like in Portugal right now, but he'll tell me. I mean, he might have some stuff. I don't think he saved. I don't know.
David, if you need a friend to play some Star Wars toys with.
Oh yeah, he will. He's
So by now, what
fan.
would you call your favorite film of the franchise?
Empire, 100%. And twice.
No
on
hesitation.
Sundays. No, number 5, baby.
Yeah.
5's my favorite number. And funnily enough, I believe in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker's number as a pilot was 5. I think he was
Red 5.
He was red 5. So
Or in the
I don't
novels,
know if
Blue 5.
Yes, I don't know if the 5 being my favorite number is for those reasons or just because I love 5. But I've always loved the number 5. So there you go. Another is it Star Wars that did it in my brain? I don't know.
It is in you. It is the Force. It
Exactly.
fills you. Favorite. What is your favorite character? It was the one you answered. Was it the one that you're also going to answer today? Oh, okay.
So should I not give it away?
Maybe don't give it away. What is your favorite character of all time again? Remind me.
Yoda.
Right.
It's a great one.
Yeah. So that means your
Han
favorite.
Solo.
No hesitation again. That's my favorite character of all
Well,
time
Han
too.
Solo, I think, was my first. Well, Han Solo and Indiana Jones combined because it's
Right.
Harrison Ford. I think was my first crush
Yes.
because, and I don't think there are men really like Harrison Ford in Hollywood now. There's maybe a couple that kind of There's really nobody.
I'm afraid of hammers, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana Jones was afraid of snakes, and he was
That's
still
true.
very much a
I'm
man.
just
So you
saying,
never know.
being that manly
Hammers.
man, that carpenter that Harrison Ford
So
is,
Thor,
flying a plane and all that
Thor's
stuff.
outside the realm of possibility for you.
Yeah, couldn't be. I couldn't cosplay as Thor.
But Han Solo is cool because he's an anti-hero. He's a smuggler and kind of out for himself and a bad dude, but does the right thing.
And also super hot.
And super. I mean, unbuttoned shirt, chest hair exposure. It's he's exactly. You're surrounded by 3 ladies today, so.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. We can.
I should say that also Chewie, because Chewie's his, he saved Chewie's life, and so he's Chewie's
his buddy.
Chewie's his dude, but also one of my nicknames was Jedi because of my last name growing up. But my future now brother-in-law used to call me Chewie because of my hair. Hey, what's up, Chewie? All the time. So I have a strong kinship with Chewie, even though Han Solo is kind of.
Well, that would mean if you're kind of Chewie, that mean you would go for.
I can't do the Chewie growl thing, though.
Which we were discussing before the show. Can you do a Chewie?
Oh, no, not at all.
No?
That's
I'm
the
not
closest I
mine,
can come.
okay?
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, you just have to roll your tongue. I don't know. I can't do it. Yeah, see?
Oh, this
Sort of.
sounds like I'm
Combined.
gargling.
You sound like baby Wookiees.
Someone get that sound clip. Just put that on repeat. What are some of your favorite quotes from the Star Wars universe?
Well, I always loved Princess Leia using the term nerf herder, and I think I even used it a few times.
It's a great band, too.
It's great. You nerf herder. And there's a whole slew of insults she puts before that, but nerf herder is always the one that sticks in my head. But I love Yoda's quote of do or do not, there is no try. I feel like this is the kind of ultimate motivational quote in Star Wars, because it's like, commit. Don't just don't be like, well, I tried and I can do it. Like, just do it. I mean, not to quote like Nike ads or anything, but I think that's like a really fundamental motivational approach or philosophy, and I like the fact that it's not very precious or like too earnest. That's kind of what's great about Yoda in general, and I know you love this if he's your favorite character. All his quotes are so simple yet truthful and universal.
Kind of cuts to the core, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's very profound, but yet very simple.
Yeah,
And yet backwards.
which in a way is forwards. Who knew?
Right.
Right?
Oh.
Exactly. See, good Yoda.
Yeah, there we go. We can do that.
We're doing all right here.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite force power?
I have a couple. It's hard.
Okay.
You asked me this and I had to choose. I mean, I think precognition is very cool.
Okay.
Because the ability to see the future is powerful.
But a little foggy future? If the Jedi knew a little bit more, would you be...
Yeah, I think mind control is my ultimate favorite, because if you can control someone's mind...
Then you don't need to see the future.
Yeah.
You've made the future.
Exactly.
So the final of the 5 most important Star Wars questions, the original questions, is the final one, of course, is my favorite question, is would you turn to the dark side of the Force?
Well, I think the fact that I love mind control means probably yes. I mean, I just
want to use it for good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I align myself with the Jedi.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think that's what's kind of so brilliant about Star Wars in general is this idea that good and evil are the same and they're intertwined, and that the power of one is very closely linked to the power of the other. And I think that's what makes it a compelling saga and franchise is these ideas. It's not binary. It's not one or the other.
What I think Obi-Wan was trying to explain to the Gungans in Phantom Menace, along with Qui-Gon, right? No? Sorry.
Keep talking.
Just keep on.
You want to burn Jar Jar figures with me? Jenny?
Yes.
Yes.
So that is the 5 most important Star Wars questions, but we're going to the bonus rounds, and this is for everybody, myself included. And I love that Miri brought a
notes.
diary of notes.
Wow.
Check it.
That's what I need, probably.
I'd
some days.
have no memory. I have much information, no memory.
So that's why you want
me
mind
too.
control.
Yeah.
You want control.
I want
other
mind control of
people's-
myself first. Then we'll work on everyone else.
So these are some questions submitted by you out there in the audience on the Jedi Alliance Facebook page, which of course we have there. You can also join the conversation on Twitter at Jedi_Alliance or on Instagram. We're also on Periscope as well, because the entire world is on Periscope as well. So if you want to see live streams of me eating, just go to that. No, I don't. Yeah, okay.
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Watch.
It's actually pretty funny.
So here is the first question, and Joey and Joe answered as well. And this is hard, and I'm springing on all this on you
you
guys. Your notes can't help you here.
Okay.
Favorite lightsaber battle?
Ooh. I think Obi-Wan and Darth in Star Wars is kind of great because it's the first real one that I remember seeing. And so and then Obi-Wan just like disintegrates into a cloud of nothingness. I don't know. I think that's...
So you're going with the classic one.
Yeah, I love the classics.
Okay. That's good.
I'm just going to do it. It's the first one that came to my head.
No, that's good. Go with your first instinct. That's what Yoda would say. Instinct, first one go with.
Speaking of Yoda,
Yeah?
it's when the new films came out. I hate
You-
new
I know
films,
you-
so I don't remember
Yeah, I'm with
any of
you.
the names. I can't. But when he did his lightsaber battle,
With
when
Dooku.
when you saw Yoda kick some ass,
Yeah.
I couldn't be like, oh my god.
Master Jedi.
Yeah, that was amazing. That's one of my most vivid memories.
That's
of
a great
watching the
point
movie.
because with this show we try to defend or at least accept the prequels at times, but there's also
Accept.
still a amount of prequel hate. I was there in the theater, kids, in 2002. It sounds like I'm an old guy. It was only like 11, 12, 13 years ago now, but that theater erupted in a standing
Yes.
ovation.
Yeah.
When
that was a moment.
when Yoda won that battle or Dooku escapes, but and that moment where he fights and then picks up his cane again, everyone in the theater I saw it in was standing.
Yeah.
Standing. So people sometimes forget that, and then a week later, prequels suck.
Yeah, no, that was
The
one of the
prequels have their
redeeming
moments.
qualities.
They do have their
those were
moments.
one-
That
That
was
was one of the
incredible
moments.
moment.
So that's a fair one.
Yeah.
Fair one. We finally got to see Yoda do his thing. Jetty.
I would say the final battle. There was just so much emotion. I mean, it was just... Oh, it was very emotional as a child when I was watching that.
Yeah.
What was going to happen? Strike them down, and that was my favorite.
That's my answer too. It's Luke and Vader in Return of the Jedi
Yes.
because it's got that music piece with the choral sound there, and there was that undertone in the subtext, father fighting son, and then him throwing the sister out there and leaping out of the shadows, and that great shot is perhaps, to me, the best shot of the series is the shadows, but the Luke fighting with his and the music swelling.
I just got goosebumps.
Right?
Yeah.
Nerd chills. Nerd chills are
Yes.
the best things.
Nerd chills.
So someone just said, someone just in the chat room says, you are the old guy. Yeah, that's right. I am the old guy. No, thank you.
So is Yoda, though, and he's
That's
pretty
right.
cool.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. So that for me, yeah, I'm going with you. Just but you can't go wrong with the classic one too, because that's the first time we saw.
First time. And then,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, what is that sound, and how can I have it around me always?
Yeah. And that's why I love the clips of the trailer where they from 75 where they're like, somewhere in space this could be happening now, and they show the kind of unspecial effect version of the lightsaber. It's this old Alec Guinness is like stick.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
I always think of Spaceballs because that was also very prevalent in my upbringing. When I see
Yes.
Schwartz is as big as mine, I can't help it.
Yeah, out
It's always
there,
there. It's always there with the Star Wars. Spaceballs.
Yeah, a lot of people out there. So Will Penner says the prequel fights were pretty much dancing, and I do agree with that. Though Lucas himself said, hey, it's because more training was available back then. You got old
More
Obi-Wan,
Jedis.
more Jedi, different fighting styles, and that's the way you kind of justified it. But I do agree with that. Sometimes, even the Duel of the Fates Phantom Menace fight, it does seem like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and I
Too
agree with that.
choreographed.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but the Yoda one was fun just because it was our first time seeing Yoda kick ass. So the next question out there is favorite planet in the Star Wars universe. Megan, where will you go?
Endor.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Endor?
Oh yeah.
You like those
Endor.
Ewoks?
Why do you? Yeah.
I don't know. Whoa!
Who doesn't like Ewoks?
A lot of people.
Really?
A lot of people.
Well,
Yes.
I can understand. I watched the very short-lived animated series, The Ewoks.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it was on television.
There was also that movie,
And
the
I loved
Ewok
it.
movie. Does
yeah,
anyone
Escape
remember
to
this?
Endor. Yeah, I remember that one.
I watched that before I ever watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
Years and years and years before.
See?
Yeah.
So your
absolutely.
concepts.
I'm with you.
So those are my
They're
peeps.
cuddly.
I
It was
grew
like
up
a
with them.
through line to the little children that wanted something
So
cuddly.
you
and soft.
saw Wilford Brimley, who was in Caravan of Courage before.
what it's called?
Yes, and Battle
Before
of
the
Battle for
diabetes
Endor.
commercials.
Yeah, diabetes.
I have barely any memories, but I mean, like when
my-
I went to a summer camp or a camp, they would sit us down in this room
can't
and
make new
watch
memories.
the Ewok movie. I watched the Ewok movie
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
But that's crazy to me that it's awesome, but it's like, to you, Wilford Brimley was canon before, like, Han Solo.
That's
or
so
any of
amazing.
that stuff.
See, everyone has their own introduction
That's why, and
into
that's why
the.
Endor is home.
You go, Endor's
Cool.
home.
I'm gonna say Yavin just because the weather seems nice. I don't know.
Yeah, you call it Yavin? That's the
Yavin.
Yavin.
I
But
don't
wait,
know.
but you're
Yavin.
Canadian,
I like
so
it. Oh,
I was wondering
Maybe
if that's
it
a
was
different
Yavin.
way.
I don't know. I always thought it was
Canadians pronounce
Yavin.
Yeah, I think we say
Yavin?
Yavin 4, but
Oh yeah, Yavin. I
but
don't know.
I'm
I like
gonna go
Yavin.
with
It
I'm not gonna
sounds-
go with
yeah,
Yavin.
It sounds better.
It does
Yavin?
sound very elegant.
Yeah, it does.
sounds
Maybe
like-
because of Tatooine, Tatooine's just like Tatooine's kind of like New Mexico, but without the cool charms and stuff. Especially like Luke's aunt and uncle, that house. I'm like,
The
this is like
adobe.
Taos. This looks
Yeah.
just like a pueblo.
Yeah, it does. It's the adobe.
So so I mean that's kind of cool, but it's just so desolate. But that shot of Luke, that first shot when the sun is setting and there's the moon in the distance,
Yeah.
is probably one of the most beautiful shots ever in cinema.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I have a soft spot for Tatooine, but I think Yavin,
Yavin.
to make it rhyme with Tatooine.
Yeah.
Just it looks so lush, and I think they shot that in Guatemala. I'm not sure.
believe you're
So
right,
it's like
yeah.
really beautiful and green, and I like green. I'm from Canada. We have a lot of green trees up
Green?
in Canada.
Then
Green.
then you should visit.
Yeah, Endor for sure.
Take the Star
friends.
Tours. Jenny, where you want to stay? Where you want to live?
Hoth.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Absolutely
Yeah.
Hoth. Wampas,
Yeah.
tauntauns.
The tauntauns are pretty cool.
I just love it. And
But it's so cold.
I know.
You'll
done with
freeze
cold.
before your tauntaun hits the
First marker.
first marker.
Yeah, I want to live on 2 planets. Endor will be my
Yeah.
second.
Taking vacation.
Exactly.
It's like,
During the winter.
summer.
Because you need a getaway. If you live on Hoth, you definitely need to get out
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah.
That's why I put the
sometimes.
Wampa in front of you today.
You saw it.
We do
Can we
share a
close
love
up on
of-
this guy? No.
Yeah. We do share a love of Hoth, but where would you want to stay? Would you like form your own little cave, or you want to find a rebel base?
Yeah, I guess I probably would want to go back to Endor. It's just much more comfortable. It's more. I get cold in 60-degree weather, so I probably would not
then
last.
maybe not so much.
on Hoth.
But visit. But come for a visit.
For a visit.
I'll come for a visit.
Yeah.
When it gets too humid and my hair gets too big, I'll be
There you
like,
go.
I need to go to Endor for a
Light
couple
a little
weeks.
fire.
Everyone's moving on to Endor, and I like
Well,
that
there's
answer.
Pet your tauntaun.
I am an urban, not cowboy. I'm just an urban kid. I might stay on Coruscant.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like what it has to offer. A lot of bar and grills, some sports activities, some luxury apartments to live in.
Luxury.
Apartments, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Condos. It's got great condos.
Right. Yeah, look at like the level 249th level.
Yeah.
You know, Padme might be my neighbor. You know, maybe I can flirt with her when her husband's out of town. You know, because this
Seems like a bit.
this a lot. Man. This is
All right, it's-
starting to get weird.
It's pages 45 through 59 of my journal.
journal?
Yeah.
Dear diary.
Dear diary. Want to move to Coruscant. I want to go to there. But all right, so that's where we want to stay in the Star Wars universe. This one, this is several people submitted this on the Facebook page. Favorite piece of music in the Star Wars universe.
I know mine.
Okay, then I'm going to go with Jennifer.
You were a high school teacher?
yeah, that's evil.
Yeah.
Dark side.
She was doing the thing where she wasn't making eye contact.
You know, the first thing that comes to mind.
Tough. It's a really tough question.
I love the main theme, but the Imperial March.
Yes.
There is nothing like it. I mean, I can just start doing it. If
was
I
mine.
say it, and I see someone walking, people are going to know what I'm talking about.
She stole it from me.
That's
I
fine.
did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Revel
I
in it
kind of do
together.
that when I'm in a bad mood. I'll be like, bomb, bomb, and I walk around and people
Exactly.
are like,
Your family knows to stay away.
okay.
Actually, you mutter it to yourself.
Yes, I
as you're
do.
walking
I swear
around
to
your
God, I'm not
house.
even lying. It's so sad. I'm
believe
just sad. I'm a sad person. Confessions on Jedi Alliance.
That's okay. I'm okay with that. That's good. So you get two votes for Imperial March.
I'm with you for
Yeah.
sure. It's very powerful.
You gonna make it 3?
I bet you can guess mine.
The Ewok theme.
No. The cantina song.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about it.
It's my ringtone.
Yeah, that's right.
Mine too.
Yeah?
That band.
Figuring Dan in the modal note.
Yeah, that's
How do
right.
you say his
Figuring
name?
Dan.
I had to
Figuring
wonder if there was like Rick Baker involvement in just some of those creatures because they seem very Rick Baker-ish. Like I wonder if Rick Baker was influenced by them or what
yeah.
the influences are. I don't know enough about it, so I'm sure you guys can maybe pipe in on just the creature design because that scene is so iconic now.
Yeah.
Greedo and all those creatures, like they're so. It's amazing.
And then makes you happy. You want to go hang out in Tatooine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're kind of an outlaw, kind of a rebel.
She is kind of a.
Hanging out in that bar. I don't know.
It's kind of like Muppets.
kind of tough customers. You're an outlaw and a rebel, but like by way of animal.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the tunes.
For me, I almost didn't choose this because I almost can't answer. Imperial March is up there for me.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I actually do love the Ewok theme when they're marching.
Do it. Let's hear it.
The do 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 do
pretty good.
Yub nub. Hashtag Yub nub life is what we started I think last time here.
Yep, yep, life.
Yub nub life. But I think for me it might be Binary Sunset, which is Luke's
yeah.
theme, the Force theme,
Oh, yeah.
something you connect with that iconic shot that you mentioned.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Like that is it is so much.
It's very melodic.
Yes, and it's hope for a galaxy. It's also as a young person when you watch it for the first time, this
very
kind of
emotional.
dreamy,
Yeah.
what does the galaxy hold for me moment.
That's a
Right.
good call.
And
I
I can
like
connect
that.
with that.
Yeah,
I like
that's a
it
good
too
one.
because it's one of the more like pensive and
Mm-hmm.
more held back. Like it's not so anthemic. It's like a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
more.
It's like that. I love Yoda's theme. What are some of the other ones that you might like?
like Yoda's
Duel
theme,
of Fates,
too.
you can't go wrong with that. If Maude was here, we'd play it and she'd cry.
Yeah.
But Duel of Fates can't go wrong. What do you guys? Any other choices?
I mean, the Star Wars Cantina is a great because that's also the one that sticks in my head. And the main theme, you can't, I mean, John Williams. The main theme, I think it's the obvious answer, and people would maybe not choose it because it's the obvious answer. But that's the whole reason why.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most iconic pieces of music. Exactly.
Nothing but
And I do think of Bill Murray every time. Hey, how about that nutty Star Wars bar?
I
It's
was-
like so much.
Saturday morning at Celebration, we were walking
were
the floor, and I was,
entire
if they
time.
should buy
Exactly. If Bill Murray could go back on SNL and just do that again as he is now,
Yeah.
I would probably melt into a puddle of joy.
I'd pay for him to do that.
Didn't he do that on the...
On the 40th, he
he
did.
Oh,
nick,
he did. I didn't see
he
it.
did nick the lounge singer doing what was it, Jaws theme or something. He added. Only Bill Murray would add to his legacy appearing on a Greatest Hits show,
Right.
and that's what he did.
That's right, okay.
Another one I like is it's Ruminations from the prequels, and that is when.
You know the names. Like,
I know, I'm like, I have no idea
The one
what
that
that
goes
is.
like...
It's good. I always think it is the one where Padme and Anakin are kind of looking out, and it's
yeah.
that low like.
So I didn't give the prequels as much of my
No,
time.
not at all.
See it
They're not
again
worth
for
your
the
time.
first time.
So,
Well,
it's different when you grow up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nostalgic.
Yeah,
and
there's
yeah.
it's like a different connection in your brain. It's like
It
a
is.
different neural pathway.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm getting into brain science.
Brain science.
I like
In
it.
my other job, just kidding.
Oh, it is. It's one of my favorite artists is Ryan Adams, and he talks about every time when he releases a new album, people compare it to the last one and say it wasn't as good as the last one. And he goes, well, the last one you hated just as much as this one now, but it's because that you've now got an emotional connection to that stuff. So you're right. When the prequels come out, we already had an emotional connection.
Yeah, and I find as I get older, I'm that person that's like, music nowadays. It's horrible.
What's that study they released? Like no music after
Get
the
off
age
my
of 33.
lawn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of subconsciously stop listening to music after about 33.
But what's weird is that I actually
No, I'm
listen
done.
to the music
It's terrible.
of way before. I'm like a 70s
I am too, but
too.
Yeah,
and
this guy
80s.
is 70s. I'm
So even
90s,
music that was
70s.
of my time, I'm kind of like,
I'm a music guy. Used to be in radio, all that stuff. Sorry, we're getting off topic here a little bit, but yeah, you go to my car. It's a '90s rock out session.
Pearl Jam any day of the week.
So it all ties to Star Wars because that was some of the problems we all had with the prequels. It was hard to bring something new into our heart.
Yes.
Right.
Also, anyway, I won't say it. That wasn't that good. Sorry.
Also,
I know some of you love prequels. Sorry.
Favorite piece of memorabilia / toys / stuff your brother David has that you stole?
The little tiny Jawa.
Yeah?
The little Jawa.
From the Kenner?
Yep.
You have one of the original ones, huh?
Well, because they're all, like, if you line them all up, which I've done. They're all, like, kind of the same size, but then the Jawa's little. And I always like the little Jawa. Even
Jawa.
Is it for sale?
No. It's not, they're not in great condition, but you line them all up and then the Jawa's like the little baby in the middle. It's cute.
I like that. Yeah.
I like my little Jawa. But I also was telling you before we started running this thing that that I was given some collectibles of like Darth, like busts, small ones, which I should have brought. Next time I'll bring them. But I have one of Darth Vader that's pretty dope.
Pretty dope.
It's pretty dope.
Darth Vader dope.
It's very detailed.
Jennifer, I know you have a lot. I'm looking at your Millennium Falcon ring, which might be my favorite piece of memorabilia.
I love the micro machines.
Yeah.
But I think last time I talked about the vintage action figures.
That's right.
So I have a Cloud City diorama. That
Oh
I
my
created
God, that's amazing.
With Lando and Han and even Lobot as well.
A lot of sad Lobots around is what we say here.
So those are my favorite.
You? Megs?
I didn't have toys growing up because I didn't.
What kind of horrible life did you have?
Really deprived childhood. Feel bad for me, guys.
There.
It's okay. I'm here now.
All right. Well, what do you have now?
But I will say one of my favorites as a kid, because I didn't get the reference of it, but was this lightsabers that you went and it like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those.
Yeah. That thing was cool. I didn't really know what it was, but.
Yeah.
I think now even they are still superior to like the ones you have to screw in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can still have
I still have mine. I have my green one. I have the Luke one I bought at Toys R Us in like 1995.
Wow.
It's in my car.
Really?
Just in case.
Just need it in case I have. You never know.
I got a more recently, but at Comic-Con probably like 4 or 5 years ago, I caved and spent way too much money on a baby Wookiee backpack because the Yoda ones.
Can't go wrong there.
But the baby Wookiee one is so.
Yeah.
It's so.
I want to
cute.
get like a life-size C-3PO backpack.
I have the Yoda for my...
Wait, what?
Now, wouldn't you? There needs to be, because you said Chewie backpack. Well, in Empire, Chewie has that backpack with 3PO.
Right.
I want a life-size version of that.
That's kind of amazing with all his limbs hanging out
And the backwards head. You oversized it. That'd be great.
And that's actually probably one of the more memorable quotes too.
Yeah.
When he's being carried around by Chewie.
And that was one of my favorite Kenner figures. For me, you know what? I'm gonna. I have to find it. I still have it. I know I have it. But I have a magazine. It's a Return of the Jedi collector's magazine from 1983.
Ooh.
We're all generally the same. Well, I don't know, Canada, do they have book clubs at the elementary schools? Or primary schools, whatever you call it up there?
I don't remember. I'm sure they did.
Grade 8.
We had the Scholastic,
That's what I'm talking
the
about.
Scholastic newsletter.
Yes.
Newsletter. Oh yeah,
And you
I
had
ordered from that all the
the
time.
very thin paper.
They were like newsprint.
Yes.
Forgot about that.
I ordered,
we had that.
or I should say my mother ordered, and my father paid for, the Return of the Jedi one, and I still have it. And it has my name on the inside scrolled like a second grader, Kenny. And it has a lightsaber with some grizzled hand on it.
Ew.
It's not, it maybe is Yoda, it doesn't really say. And it just takes through. And the first thing, and why I call this show, and what Maude and I determined to call this show a celebration of the greatest saga ever told, you turned the page, and the first page was Luke on the sail barge in that classic Jedi pose with the green lightsaber, and it said the greatest saga ever told.
Aww. So, I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Kind of.
That's my. It is in one of my boxes somewhere here in Los Angeles. I must find it.
I have a fun reissue Kenner Boba Fett that's big. You know, they did the big reissues.
Yes.
That are like this big. But it's still in the case. I didn't take it out because I was like, I'm not going to touch this puppy. Yeah. So he's like in his perfect. And they reissued like the packaging and everything.
It looks great. Cool. There was a lot of them at Celebration. Yeah. And I'm not bringing you Celebration anymore because every time I tried to buy something, you said I didn't have the need for it.
Oh, that Wampa was stupid. That's a much better one.
Don't worry. When she wasn't looking, I stole.
Did you buy it?
No, I bought many Mighty Mugs when you had your back turned, as you know. All right, final question from the bonus round submitted from our fans. This one is from Francois Simrand. I ask all of you, are you an angel?
Wait, what?
I'm sorry, Francois. I saw that. That was like my favorite. Mark's clapping in the booth. That's my favorite response we put out there. Hey, ask us some bonus questions. And are you an angel? Oh, little
That's
Annie.
funny.
All right, final one. The real question is favorite scene. Favorite
What? You can't
scene.
answer that.
Yep.
I mean,
yep.
that's
Boil it
insane.
down
This
to
is
5.
Um,
All right, Mary, come on.
Oh my gosh.
What would your brother
I mean, I
David say?
love visually. I love the chase in Endor. The
Yes.
just the
that's
fighter,
nice.
the fighters. Like it was so. I think at the time that it came out, it was probably one of the most innovative chase scenes.
Yeah.
And so beautiful. So I love that.
Also very gorgeous.
and very, very beautiful.
Especially when those
listen,
biker scouts
I like
die.
beautiful things. It's-
Beautifully so.
Yeah.
Amongst foliage.
But it looks cool, and then obviously the first real chase scene, which is when they figure out the weakness in the Death Star and they go in through, and Luke's like, I got this. I grew up in and he's like, I grew up in these, whatever, and then he goes down to the thing, and it's like, meow, meow, and anyway, that's really awesome.
All right.
That was the best description I've ever given of anything in my life.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Megs?
Once again, I gotta go with Mos Eisley Cantina.
Can't
That
go wrong.
I love that. There's so much packed into it. Like all the background. All
You're
the
like,
little
wait a sec, did someone put
characters.
mushrooms in my
Yeah, exactly.
in my fruit juice? Because who are all
And I
these
love the original version, not the special
no,
edition
no,
with
no.
the
Yeah.
new aliens in
I
it.
can't even tell
But
you
that's
when I
true.
started to watch the new version and they desecrated my scene. I turned it off and I turned off Star Wars for a very long time.
You
I
know
was
that the
very,
one
very
they're
mad.
selling, the bundle on iTunes, I think is the new versions.
Oh, that's sad.
No,
From what I've heard, like with the added in CGI stuff, which is like why.
Yeah,
It's so
don't.
upsetting. Yeah,
it's very upsetting.
But original version.
Original
yes.
version.
Like going into
So-
an amazing world.
So
and-
fun to, so it's a world to climb.
And then
the
there's
music's
iconic
playing.
scenes
yeah.
in it. There's Greedo and Han, and there's my favorite
First
song.
time they meet.
And
Obi-Wan and Chewie perhaps discussing a plan put in place
Oh,
19 years
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think it was. Anyway, sorry. We'll go off on weird
There's so
tangents.
many. I mean, all of it.
Yeah.
There's so
Right.
many.
yeah, right. I loved Luke in Jedi when he makes his first appearance in
Yeah.
Jabba's throne room. And he comes in and he seems like a totally different
Yeah,
man.
he's changed.
Yeah, wearing the all black.
Yeah.
Doing the mind tricks.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh,
it.
yeah, that was
obviously
cool.
Obi-Wan when they're when they get approached by the stormtroopers, and he's just the little.
first-
He's like holding his. He's like, these are not. The
Right. Yes.
These aren't the droids
I
you're looking
include
for.
that in the Mos Eisley
Yeah.
And he's
scene,
like-
just that first.
And he's just like,
So
it's so smooth.
The subtle.
And you're just like,
yeah.
I will believe anything Alec Guinness says to me at this
Yeah.
point. So that, I mean, obviously because, I'm Miri the Jedi, I've always,
Yeah.
to me, that's like the ultimate Jedi. And
Jedi
they're like,
moment.
he looks at me, he's like, these aren't the droids we're looking for. And they're like, all right.
Oh, okay.
dee-dee-dee-dee-dee, and they like move along.
And Luke's just got
Luke's
this
just
like,
like-
the hell is this old man
Luke's like,
doing?
okay, teach me your Jedi stuff now. I'm ready.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
For me, I love again the final lightsaber fight in Jedi. I could almost answer again because that's to me great. I love the stuff with the Emperor and the interplay between Luke, Vader, and the Emperor, and the whole. I mean, how many times do I do that stupid not the Emperor voice on the show? I just love doing all the your faith in your friends is yours. Like just, there's so much there. But really, and we've discussed it before on the show. The scene I love, and I'll just sometimes put it on. It's the Battle of Hoth. And just that shot of the 5 Imperial walkers coming up, from the South Ridge, just nerd chills. And as a kid, I was terrified.
Yeah. You know what used to terrify
Terrifying.
me as a kid was the first time you see the Jawa. I remember that so vividly. I just remember that scene because, like I said, I remember scenes from my childhood, and I remember, like, how you see them, and it's just eyes, and that used to freak me out so much. Maybe that's why I like the little Jawa fit, because I have like a weird connection
weird
to the
connection to
Jawa.
Jawas.
Fear,
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, get you around some Jawa cosplayers at Celebration. See if you like
are so cool.
follow them around.
Kind of scared and also really fascinated and entranced.
Those ones are good. So those are the 5. Those are some of the 5 bonus questions, and you guys, there's so many more. Sometimes we work them in from time to time. So if you have one, put it on the Facebook page, and we will do another round. Sometimes it's fun to kind of ask a little bit more, and just kind of discuss this series we love so much. So we'll move on from that. We'll go into our Forced On segment, which is the segment which we take something from the Star Wars universe and force it on you all. And today it is, like I said, the favorite minor characters in the Star Wars saga. And sorry, I have to get my email up to make sure I get the right order in. That would or mess Mark up a lot back there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So sorry,
your
excuse me.
special photos.
Excuse me as I do some homework.
I'm peeking.
Yeah, you're peeking. You are.
No peeksies.
You are peeking. That's fine. So we're going to give you an opportunity. We'll go one by one here and give your three. And it was I put 3 out there as a random number, but really we could pick days upon end. And these are the characters to me that make up the Star Wars universe. Yes, the main characters are the main characters that probably they're the meat in this meal here, but where would these movies and sagas be without those characters on the side?
For sure.
Right?
Right.
Mine are all from the prequels. No, I'm kidding.
And scene.
I almost put the old lady in Phantom Menace who says one of my favorite Star Wars lines because it's so stupid. Storms are coming, Annie! There's something about her.
That's a super minor character. That's like actually more of a Dave.
Sub-minor.
Yeah.
Well, they're
yeah.
I mean, they're
But
all
we're going to
minor.
start.
A featured extra.
Yes,
Exactly.
featured extra, exactly.
Jennifer Landa,
Yes.
you're up first.
Okay.
Go for it.
First, Salacious B. Crumb.
Yes.
It's a good one.
Should I explain why?
Oh, I think you need
Okay, yeah. So the little guy, he has such a sick sense of humor.
Yeah.
And I love that.
He's salacious.
He's so the laugh gets me every time. He seems like a real prankster.
to. Yeah, I'm
He's
looking
over
at.
there.
I'm looking over there.
Monkey
I know.
lizard.
I can't do his laugh. But
I love that he's like a Muppet. You know, he's kind of like a Muppet. And for me, I always imagined what him and Jabba would do. Just like the
Yeah.
pranks that they would pull, how they became friends, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
I was
you could totally do a
fascinated.
buddy like spin-off with these two.
That's what I was thinking.
Like one of the spin-offs ends up being these two guys.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And their hijinks through the universe. I don't know.
Perfect stranger style.
Yeah, exactly.
Salacious. You can't do a salacious? Give us one salacious.
Jeez. So if people are like,
I can't do it. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
It's all right.
We're going to make you do one later, too.
You always make me do one. I hate you for it.
All right, so Salacious B. Crumb, which you can't. That was as a kid because Jedi was the first one I saw in the theater, and there was just something terrifying, but just so amusing about him.
Right.
Just loved him. I've always had.
And the way he moves his head and his body too is so fun.
And,
He's a really
I'm,
fun character.
I'm one of those a-hole fans, especially growing up, that if you said Salacious Crumb, I'd be like, excuse me,
B.
Yeah.
I
Good.
forgot the B.
I think we're all on the same
Yeah,
page
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Do you know what the B stands for?
I don't.
No, I don't either.
Bartholomew?
Let's say that.
J. Simpson?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. Salacious Bartholomew Crumb.
Bartowski?
I feel like B, the default is always Bartholomew for some reason. And I think
so.
it's because of The Simpsons.
think
Bubba.
so.
Maybe Bubba.
That's
Bubba.
it.
Bubba and Jabba.
Salacious Bubba Crumb.
Yeah, there we
Well,
go.
it's not Brian.
Known to his friends.
definitely not Brian.
Bubba. Number 2 on your list, Jennifer?
Size noodles.
You're staying in Jabba's palace.
I am, but here's the thing. I like the old side, not the
Oh,
new
yes.
one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Lefty
yes.
Neck. That
Yes.
song for me, you know, when she was the puppet, not the CGI and not the Jedi Rocks song, she had so much spunk and kind of sass, like a cabaret
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah, it's
like
true.
a Liza Minnelli.
She was great, yeah.
You know, and so much confidence, even though she looked crazy. But you were like,
Well, sometimes the most confident people are crazy.
you know,
right.
I could see her on the back of the, you know, just smoking and
Yeah.
drinking
a good
between
call.
sets.
There was some sexuality there to sigh.
Was
You
it?
know?
Yeah.
There's that confidence there, right?
Yes.
Am I just. Okay. No.
It's okay. It's all right.
That was page
Right?
what of your journal?
That's page 70 to
70
200. I worked
Dear
through it.
diary.
Oh, sigh.
Wow, it's been a lot of
The way you
time.
move those.
Yeah, and I
Hips.
the special editions, they just no,
Why?
no,
Why?
right?
I don't even want to talk about it. It actually makes my stomach fall.
Yeah, it basically just yeah.
Jedi rocks.
Size noodles, yeah, and that song "Lefty Neck" is so fun to
so good.
sing along to. I don't know all the words.
And she gets
that's
kind of off
good.
key,
Wow,
which I
yes, yeah.
love. You know, it's just like she doesn't care.
Boom, boom, ding,
Oh, here we go.
ding, ding.
He's doing all the instruments too.
Ding, ding. It's great. We could do that all night, and you wouldn't watch us. Rounding out your top 3 minor characters, Jennifer Landa.
Lobot.
You went with the Lobot.
Yeah.
Lobot's pretty popular here.
Really?
It's we profiled him in A Duel of Fates. Joseph Scrimshaw has the joke that by 1985, the only action figures you could find were sad Lobots hanging on the shelves before Kenner went out of business.
Yeah.
Lobot's got a lot of And that Wookiee erotica magazine that Mon Garrett got me for my birthday.
Oh my God, I think I saw a picture of that on Instagram maybe or something.
The Lobot photo shoot is disturbing in the most right way. I'll bring it in next week.
Oh my gosh.
I'll bring it in.
I can only imagine.
So what do you love about Lobot?
I love that he's a man that will take care of business. Doesn't say anything. He doesn't need to. You know, he's connected to the computers on Cloud City.
Yeah.
He can, if I ever needed anything, I would go to him. Done. Handled.
Perfect man.
Loyal, too. He's a perfect man and very loyal.
He is
Say
loyal.
much, just gets it done.
We did the Duel of Fates as who is the better assistant, Bib Fortuna or Lobot?
Oh.
And Lobot won because everyone's like, Fortuna was just kind of a pushover, man.
Yeah.
So
No.
Lobot's a good pick.
No contest.
Lobot.
Also, it's fun to say Lobot.
Yes.
It is.
Lobot is just a good name.
What was his? What's his real name? Does anyone know?
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
It's like the default.
I think it's like Larry Batowski, and they're like Lobot. Lobot.
Yeah, that's actually cute.
Salacious B. Crumb, Size Noodles, and Lobot are Jennifer Landa's top
Excellent
3.
choices.
Do you have a close
you.
call? Do you have a close call?
A close call? No. I mean,
No.
nah.
She's like, no, those are it.
Those are my top. Yeah, those are my faves.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good list. Miri Jedeikin, we're going to you. We're going to you. Number 1 on your list.
Well, number 1, I see. This is why I asked you like what defines a minor character.
And in the
because
end, I actually
Some are minor,
talked to
like,
her, and,
yeah.
and we agree that you're right. This is a main minor character.
yeah, but I think
But he's a minor
still
character.
So Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
Because I remember, first of all, when I did a red carpet for Return of the Jedi's 30th anniversary, and Harrison Ford was there and Peter Mayhew was there, but the guy I was the most excited about for some reason was Billy D. Williams because he was wearing a scarf and he was super stylish. So this is what I love about
Bless his
Lando.
heart.
Lando as a character, certainly not as minor as some of the other minor characters.
Yeah.
You're right. He's more of a secondary character than a minor character. But the reason I had to include him is because he, to me, kind of represents what is human about the Star Wars universe, because he's self-serving and he's kind of like a scumbag entrepreneur guy, but he also in the end redeems himself and does
Yeah.
the right thing. But he's so stylish.
He is
Yes.
so stylish.
I mean, he just walks, he like floats into the scene. You're like, oh my, this
Yeah.
guy just totally funked 70s funk. He just infused the Star Wars universe with like
I
some
agree.
amazing style. And as a child, I remember like kind of always picking him out and being like, I want to watch every single thing this guy does.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care if he's good or bad. And so he has that enigmatic, charismatic thing that
I agree.
love.
And some people might out there say, no, he's not, he's one of the main characters. Yeah, he is. But when you pose a question to me, number 1, I'm never going to tell anyone not to talk about Lando because he's one of my favorite characters.
he's amazing.
In fact, she was
He
with
just-
me
he's got
at
this-
Celebration when I got my Lando Calrissian Burger King 1980 souvenir cup.
Straight up allowed that to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said,
That was
okay.
She gave you a
And
get out of jail free
Yeah.
card
He
for
bought
that.
me one of mine that it had my favorite character on it, which
Yeah,
we'll get to.
Let's get to a second. But
So Lando's certainly the Lando, like Martin Lando. Lando is certainly like probably the most major of my minor picks, but I just love him. And
Absolutely.
I had to include him.
Good choice.
But he is
Excellent.
minor. He is not one of the big 3.
No.
As it were.
Exactly.
All right, number 2 on your list.
Well, number 2 is General Veers.
I love it.
Because he scared the bejesus out of
so
me as a child. And also because Julian Glover has been in everything. And as a movie nerd and a fan of popular culture, I love that he just keeps popping his head up. And he's like a true Shakespearean, Rada actor. Like this guy, he's got major chops. And a little bit of trivia, if you Game of Thrones fans, he plays Meister, Grand Meister Pycelle,
Yeah.
who is the, Grand Meister to the Lannister family. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, which I am.
As I am.
And so it's just cool to see him. He plays bad guy so well. Like he's in Indiana Jones.
He's
Last
Walter
Crusade.
Donovan.
Yeah, he's Walter Donovan. And
Germany's
and
declared war on the
For Your
Jones
Eyes
Boys.
Only, I think he's in a Bond
Yeah.
movie. He plays
Yeah.
like a Greek total bad guy villain, and
Not
he's
surprising.
he's just so good at it. He's so mean and terrifying, and yet so delicious.
What
to
I
watch.
love
So
about
love
him as Veers is there is
Maximilian
is this kind of emotionless sheen to him that is kind of the Empire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. He embodies the Empire.
He comes
absolutely.
in that scene in Vader's meditation chamber
Yeah.
when he's kind of half defending Admiral Ozzel. He felt surprised. He's as clumsy as he is stupid. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
He's just like cool.
He's like stronger than Vader.
Yeah.
He's the guy that's like, Vader,
Yeah.
And
Keeping you in line. Like, he's so amazing.
He was a good hire.
and that's one. He was a good hire.
Good hire.
Good recruitment from
Yeah,
the
good job.
from the Imperial HR
Anything
department.
else I'm forgetting?
And that's one of my favorite Vader lines is General Veers prepare you in first officer.
But also the cool thing about him is that he's got technical prowess because he's the guy who designs the AT-ATs, right? He's the one who
he
sends.
drives them. Yeah, he's-
Isn't it his deal though?
It might be at the Quat Farms.
I thought he was the guy that
Jenna
made
helped
them.
me here.
Did he make them? I thought he was like he was like an army general badass, but also
Designer.
kind of like a
I'm sure.
tech
Let's look that up.
engineering as well.
Someone look that up out there in the land.
town.
I mean, the
Jedi
guy,
Alliance
he's like
town.
the Elon Musk, like the guy who's designing the all-terrain, you know, he's kind of, I don't know. I thought it was kind of,
General
not to
Veers.
say that Elon Musk is evil.
Great.
I don't have any knowledge of him other than that he makes Teslas and flies people into space.
That's right.
So.
Final on your list.
I have to go with, per our conversation earlier, Chief Chirpa.
I love it.
Because, like you, I grew up with a lot of Ewok lore around me as much as the 3 films, the cartoon again. And I like the fact that he's like the head guy of the elders, and I like that they're a bit grumpy. And at first he's like, "I'm not going to help you," and then he's like, "All right, fine, I'll help you." And then they're in, like, and he's cute, and he wears fun, leathery, weird clothes, and I don't know, I like Chief, and also it's just fun to say Chief Chirpa.
Chief Chirpa.
Chief Chirpa.
Tyler Johnson.
Or as you referred to him, in the email to me, Chief MRF and Chirpa, which is the
Mother
way
effing Chirpa.
Mother effing Chirpa, which is how we should always refer to him.
Tyler Johnson says Veers designed the
He did.
AT-ATs or AT-ATs or Imperial Walkers, whatever you want to call them. At the Quat drive yards, which is probably something he had something to do with. Okay,
Cool. Thanks for
great.
that.
Even though some of that it's in Empire at War, which unfortunately is not canon anymore, but we're going to go with it here because it just adds to Veers's.
See, that should just be canon.
It should.
Yeah,
It might
that's
be.
a cool fact.
All right, so Lando, General Veers, Chief Mother Effin' Chirpa. Head of the Ewoks, along with Logray. That's some good stuff there. Megan Finley, we're going to go to you with your list. Number 1 on your list,
Number 1 in my heart
and forever,
is Sally B.
Sally
B. Salacious B. Crumb. That's my
right.
boy. That's what is my
Sally B.
Sally B.
I love it.
That's right. When you were on the first time, that was the answer you
to my
gave as your favorite character.
Yeah.
And
Straight
so
up.
when you I haven't met a lot of you,
Really?
so I think it's time to form
A fan club.
The Sally
Club-
B fan club.
Club Crumb has begun today.
You guys should just start like a band, like
Yeah.
a post pop band, and just call it
Yeah.
Sally B.
Sally and the Crumbs.
Sally and the Crumbs.
Sally B and the Crumbs.
We'll cover the Cantina song.
Exactly.
Remind us again. Why do you
Pourquoi?
love?
Because, well, Jenny really said it. I mean, he's just a dark-hearted little brat.
Yeah, that's a great description.
He is basically my spirit
And the way
animal.
he moves.
Just dark sense of humor, laughs at other people's pain. Love that kid.
I've known you for 10 years now, and that's about right.
Right?
Yeah, that seems about
I'm
right.
kind of like the Salacious B. Crumb
Yeah.
to your Java.
To my Java? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you sit on his like left hip
Sometimes
or
I
right
lean
hip?
on him when I'm tired.
Yeah, this
I mean,
is
does
true.
it even constitute as a hip? Like, I don't even know what to call his body
left
part.
lob.
His left lobby part. Yeah.
And you laugh like Salacious B. Crumb too.
Or Lisa Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
It depends.
Oh.
Again with The Simpsons,
Yeah.
there seems to
It's
be an
all
inextricable
connected.
link.
All connected, yes.
Perfect. Salacious is
Salacious is
and
my
that-
boy.
There's some when he's chewing 3PO's eye out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or like chewing
There's-
on wires. And come on.
It's a good. You're almost on Crumb's side.
You are. How can you not love
He's
the little
wonderfully
guy?
vicious.
Straight for the eye.
And I love that little creature thought, oh, it's a fight. I better help my master.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's in.
Yeah.
And then sadly he
But also,
dies.
I'm kind of hungry. I know. I know. It makes me so sad.
But that way he can live in infamy forever.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like James Dean. Like his flame went out young so that he could
You heard it here first.
Only the good
Salacious
die
B.
young.
Crumb and James Dean in the same sentence.
only hear, folks. You can only
here.
find
Like a
these
candle
analogies
in the
here.
wind.
Exactly.
Sally B, a candle
Exactly.
in the wind.
Or Marilyn Monroe, or maybe more of a Jimi Hendrix, actually, now that I think about it.
I'm sure on Tatooine there was some sort of like memorial kind of fund charity thing put together.
No, I have absolutely.
No?
I totally
Maybe on Mos
100% disagree.
Espa, someone got up there and were like, "You're the
Nobody
candle
cared.
in the wind." No? Okay.
Nobody cares. They're
Sally
all
B.
like, that guy was annoying.
Maybe
Thank
maybe it
goodness
was
he's
your
gone. Yeah, exactly.
the second guy on your list. Well, he would have died too, unfortunately. Who was the second guy?
Max Rebo.
So we're
And
almost
the
in the
Max
same
Rebo.
genre.
Yeah, we are very similar. Yeah. And the Max
Wow.
Rebo band, formerly the Intergalactic Jizz Whalers.
Yes.
Which I totally see why they changed their name.
Yeah,
That is not appropriate.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Nobody wants to be a Jizz Whaler.
So,
not quite as all encompassing as a nerf herder.
Nerf herder.
Herder, yeah.
I'd rather be a nerf herder than a
I
Jizz
just
whaler.
love being
Exactly.
Put that on a bumper sticker.
Yeah, put that on a shirt. Explain it to my mother at Christmas dinner. What draws you to Max Rebo when she's drawn to
Well,
Cy Snootles?
again, I love me some Muppets.
Sure.
And this guy is just such a weird looking little elephant guy. I also love elephants. And I read something a long time ago, and I was going to look it up, and I totally forgot that his original design, actually, he didn't have legs. He was designed to be a creature in that, like, piano thing.
Trapped in there?
Yeah,
Right.
like, that's just what he was.
That would have been cool, actually.
Yeah.
that is cool.
And that was years ago. That was back in the old MySpace days.
Yeah,
He was
remember
actually
those
listed
days?
as
I remember those days.
Shakes cane. Get off my lawn.
Exactly.
He was underneath my favorite musicians.
Oh, I do remember.
Do you remember that?
I do remember
and I think
that.
you actually sent me a link to that.
Oh, you have
originally.
known each other a long time.
time.
Yeah, we've been friends a long time.
They go back to MySpace.
No, I'm actually on her Friendster profile too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how long I've known her. Yeah.
Wow, that even predates MySpace.
Yeah, I know. And you were in my top 8 on my
Yeah, that good stuff. I made sub number 7. It's
You
great.
did,
Rebo's great, and
Yeah.
Rebo's got some. He's
so
got some
cute.
charisma.
He does.
Doesn't he?
Cool. He's a cool
Yeah,
cat.
he's a cool guy. Well, he's a cool
wonder
guy.
he
I think it boils
Yeah.
down to just like an innate confidence.
Again,
Right.
yeah, all the musicians have really,
Yeah.
very, very competent
This
creatures.
is why I host podcasts. Rounding out your list is one of my favorite choices. Go for it.
Yeah, you were very excited when I,
was very
mentioned this
excited.
one. I gotta give love to the Tauntaun that gave his life to the
yeah.
Empire to keep my boys warm.
Excellent choice.
And you know what? He went out there knowing he was gonna die. I mean, that Tauntaun knows
I
he's gonna
cried
freeze.
when I was a
cried
kid.
too.
That used to really haunt
think
me.
about him all the time. Yeah, it's very haunting. Like I think about him all the time.
And that
Or
was
her.
up there for me with
Or her.
when, God, what's the name of his horse?
Atreyu.
Atreyu.
Yes,
Yeah.
what's Atreyo's horse's name? You knew exactly what I was talking about. When
Artax.
Artax. When Artax sinks.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that
I
did
remember
me in.
seeing that in the theater. I was a
Yeah.
small child, and I
Couldn't
like
take it?
Yeah.
the same
That
with the
was
Tauntaun.
traumatizing.
Yeah.
And so I have to keep him alive.
Yeah,
his memory
I'm
alive.
with you.
much
That's a
like-
great one.
Yeah.
And you made a great point if Han took that thing knowing
Knowing it was
that
going
his
to die.
Tauntaun was going to freeze at the first
That's what he
minutes.
told Luke.
Yeah, so this Tauntaun sacrificed himself
Right.
for the rebellion.
Which is it's very
Right.
dog-like.
Yeah.
When you think about it,
what a
What
dog
was that?
would do.
He's yeah, exactly. I mean, like they.
yeah.
Who knows what would have happened?
That's a great call.
If
I love
poor
that.
little
I love that choice.
Artax the Tauntaun didn't bite
Artax
it.
the Tauntaun.
Text the Tauntaun.
It's like a pop culture mashup
Yeah.
right now. It's like my dream.
that
This
shirt.
is my dream.
Artax, you're stinky.
Do you
Yeah.
have that Tauntaun sleeping bag? Because that probably has special
No,
meaning
I
to
want
you.
it so badly.
You can probably
though.
find it on
Comfy.
eBay.
I
Yeah.
have it.
You
Have it?
yeah?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's awesome.
Of course you do.
Oh.
Yes.
Lightsaber zipper.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it has like
God.
it started
Your house
as,
is fun, I bet.
Fun fact, started as an
bet she has
April
a fun
Fool's
house.
joke.
Yes,
And
right.
then people wanted it
Really?
to happen so
and they
badly
willed
that
it.
they produced it. That it was now a thing. Yeah, no, I'd love that.
Okay. Well, that's your list. I love
That's
it.
my list.
Celestia's Become,
great.
Max
Are they
Rebo,
all dead?
and Artax
all died.
the Tauntaun.
Artax
Yeah, you
the
picked
Tauntaun.
a bunch of dead people.
Or creatures.
My list here is
Mostly
pretty
Muppets.
simple. I've mentioned it before. For some reason, I was drawn to this character, probably after not just watching the movie, but I was fascinated. But there was someone that actually had to run this Death Star. So Return of the Jedi's Moff Gerard always became one of my favorite guys, and I have all his figures, everything. And then in the novelization, they get to you go into his psyche a little bit, and he's just like this hard-working dude. He's kind of respected and feared. His quote was, "Great men never hurry. Great men cause others to hurry." And he didn't hurry
yeah.
to get Vader. He walked
That's a great
casually.
quote. I'm going
Right.
to use that.
That's
I'm gonna
great.
Well,
I'm going to use that.
this is why I was lonely for many years in high school. My senior art class, I had to do some calligraphy art, and that was the thing I did. I was like, well, I'm going to put this quote up. And my teacher was like, what's this quote? I was like, great men never hurry, great men cause others to hurry, Moff Gerard. And she was just, he was like,
You're gonna die alone.
okay. Yeah. So I have somewhere this framed picture of that quote. It's
That's amazing.
Probably
Oh,
in my
that's amazing.
parents' garage.
Your mom has that. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. You
For
said
some
that
people,
'cause
it's the Serenity Prayer.
Yeah.
For you, it was,
yeah.
It's a
little
Death
known
Star
character,
administrator.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see that
awesome.
as a reflection of your entire career, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like it's very you.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I am.
I don't know
do
if
that.
that's a compliment, but
I am
I'll take it.
I am a
He knows what I-
imperial.
he knows what I mean.
I am an imperial bootlicker. That's what
No,
it
I
is.
mean, I just like you.
The Emperor's coming here.
You sort of hold down the fort. You don't hurry. You make other people hurry. You know, pit boss kind of style, right?
That's right.
I always am in a hurry.
Me too.
So that does not apply to me.
Have you ever been
always in a hurry?
Ever driven in a car with me? You're right. Everyone's like, could you drive faster? I'm not in a hurry. Second on my list.
Because you're arriving an hour early, though.
Second, you enjoyed sitting there for an hour.
That was so much fun.
Second on the list, I couldn't say no to this guy. It's Wedge Antilles. Right. Yes, give me some Yodas. Yeah, Wedge Antilles, because Wedge, I mean, he's like the only kind of minor dude that survives all like 3 movies. As a kid,
it's rare.
You're like, wait, that's the guy. That's the guy from the guy who's the guy. Good shot, Jensen. Now he's taking out the North Reflector Tower.
Yeah.
And then in the expanded universe, he so went on a big career in the expanded universe, which unfortunately does not count. And I'm disappointed that Dennis Lawson, the uncle of Ewan McGregor, of course, decided very obstinately and stubborn to not appear in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
They offered him a spot.
I know.
And
Why wouldn't he?
He said, nope, I've moved past it. Acting!
You're the only one who has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm like,
Good
okay.
point. So I'm a little disappointed.
interesting.
Maybe he'll come back for 8 or something like that. But love Wedge Antilles, man. He did it.
Also, he's got a great name.
Wedge.
Right?
Wedge.
Yeah.
Wedge, the Antilles
Wedge
family.
Antilles.
Is it a great name?
And then
I don't know.
Wedge.
Well-
A lot of wedgie as a child.
I just think of a because I always think about food, so I just think about like one of those
like
big
iceberg wedges?
wedge lettuce salads with blue cheese and the creamy
well,
dressing.
I'm going to name my son Wedge Gerard Napzok. So we'll see how that works out for him.
setting him up for a really
rough childhood.
Lifetime of explaining. Rounding out my list is Ninum. I, of course, can't go without mentioning Ninum. The bane of Maude Garrett's existence is Ninum. He's also the punchline of one of the only stand-up jokes I'm known for. And his figures hang all over my room, as does that T-shirt, which is why no one else comes in my room.
You shouldn't say that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't
Yeah.
admit that to people.
Yeah, all right, I'll
I'm
take
just
him
saying.
down. I'll
You
box him
can
out.
pretty
No,
much
you don't have to
assume.
do that. Just it's like it reminds me of the 40-year-old virgin. You know,
Yes.
when she
That's-
comes over and he has
yeah.
to take out.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't have all that stuff in your apartment. So she comes in and it's like empty.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the walls.
That would probably be my room. Yeah.
Asia poster
Yeah.
being the first thing that
Yeah.
goes.
So that is our list here. There's so many more minor characters out there. So I want you to go onto the Facebook page or on Twitter at Jedi_Alliance and tell us your favorite minor characters in the Star Wars universe. There's so many to choose from. Like I said, that's what's wonderful about this universe. It takes these characters, the spice of the meal. Yeah, there's Han, Luke, and Leia, and Chewie, and Darth Vader, and the Emperor. But there's these characters that make up the universe, and I'm excited to see what new characters we'll get. What new minor characters we're all going to fall in love with in The Force Awakens.
Give me some Muppets.
You're going to get your wish. JJ,
I know.
we'll get him.
I'm so
JJ wants some
stoked.
Muppets.
I'm so stoked.
I mean, even BB-8 alone looked so cool.
Oh, God.
When he rolled out on stage.
That was,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome.
BB-8
He might
is-
be my new feed.
Yeah,
like
he's
him.
already...
He's like all rotating parts. It's
Yeah.
so cute. It's
Yeah.
cute. I don't know what it is. It's great design.
He's there. BB-8. This is why I think we're going to be pretty darn
We're gonna be
safe
excited, yeah.
I
with
think
Force
so.
Awakens.
Because we already like
Fingers, toes,
Yeah.
and eyes crossed.
soccer
Yeah.
bot.
Yeah.
I love my soccer bot.
It's like the first time you
Yeah,
saw
totally. It's great.
BB-8, you're like, okay, and then you learn it's practical. You're like, definitely.
Yes.
First time you see Jar Jar, and South Park guys made fun of it based only on seeing the trailer. They had no idea it
really?
was going to be. So you say people gonna die appears in the South Park movie because they're like, well, we just saw that and thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then
it
it
is.
became what it was.
And then,
Yeah.
shock it was.
So we're already looking better off there. So let's move on to our final segment of the day, which is Duel of the Fates. It is our weekly Star Wars debate. If you feel free to dance like Maude would. So last week, I'm going to recap last week's. We had... it was a kind of an open-ended question, but it had a kind of a yes or no answer, and that is at any point in Force Awakens or leading up to The Force Awakens in the canonized novels, young adult books, or sticker books, or comics, do you want Luke Skywalker to go to the dark side of the Force, whether it is before or during the movie, comes back, something like that? Do you want him to go to the dark side of the Force? So I will go to the floor here and see quickly, what do you guys think? What would your answer have been? Megan?
No.
No?
Nope. Emphatically no.
Emphatically no.
Nope. No, thank you.
Underline?
Underline. Yep.
No.
Move on. Next topic.
Jennifer?
You know, dabbling a little bit.
You're okay with
I
it?
would love to see the complexity. Maybe he's struggling
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
You know, and just a different side of him.
A lot of people were on that tip with you, like the gray area. We talk a lot about the gray area, and they're okay with Luke diving into that.
I would love
But we had a
that.
lot of emphatic no's.
I don't.
We had a lot of no. So Miri, where would you go?
I don't know. I feel like I'm with you. I feel like it's because we watch him become a Jedi, we see the whole process.
Yeah.
But I do think from like a storytelling perspective and a character arc perspective, it would be interesting to see him struggle with it and have conflict. But ultimately, I think he would have to choose good.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I think,
for sure.
I don't know if my no is as emphatic. It's more of a, well, no, but like with benefits. Like I want him to, I would like
be
to
a
see him.
realistic character. But
Exactly.
Yeah,
But,
totally.
but ultimately, no.
Yeah.
So the total, it was not even close. And I last week, for the first time ever, I finally got smart and I put the question on Twitter as well as Facebook. So I had to do a lot of counting this morning. So these votes are approximate, but it became very clear early on. The answer that you all chose was no, 75 to 25. Said no. They did not want to see Luke Skywalker go to the dark side. Some said yes. Some said emphatic no's, and but the gray area came up a lot. And here's some of the comments.
Makes sense.
Raul Morales said only if it helps the overall Star Wars story going forward, not just for shock value, face going heel,
Right.
which is a pro wrestling term. Brett Bellina says absolutely not. Luke rejecting the dark side in Return of the Jedi was the defining moment in Star Wars, and Luke's
Nice.
progression as a Jedi Knight. He succeeded where his father failed. Dan Hovey says
that.
he can go either way. It was only promised that he would bring balance to the Force. At the time, the Sith were too powerful, and he was needed as a Jedi. Interesting take on it. Jason Murillo says, I think Luke dabbling with the dark side could open up a lot of awesome story opportunities. Dark Empire status, referencing the comic series that did turn Luke. He votes yes. Caleb Wynn says, no way. He is the moral compass. He needs to take an old Obi-Wan role now.
Oh, I like that.
Friend of the show and friend of Geek Bomb, Blonde Saurus, says, no, this would break my heart.
There you go, Von Source.
And finally, Charlie Davis said, and this one got a lot of likes, no, Luke said it himself, I'll never turn to the dark side. And I think that's kind of where I come down to in the end
Yeah.
after taking it
Yeah.
all in. Luke said he wouldn't.
Nope.
That's good.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
need him.
Well said.
But in this Game of Thrones world, I do like gray areas where I want to see these characters kind of
Gray
go
areas
through.
are life.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
one of the
real.
things that's cool about Star Wars is, like we said at the beginning of the show, is the duality of
Right.
good and evil isn't, they're not mutually exclusive. So,
Right.
all the Jedis know that turning to the dark side of the Force is something that is, if you don't discipline and take care and be aware,
Maintain,
could happen to
yeah.
anyone. So I do
Yeah.
think it's interesting. This is why Star Wars is great.
It is. It's good, and I love that there is speculation that I don't want to see Luke go bad, but I love that we're seeing already in Force Awakens. Like, well, maybe he could, maybe he did. I still think he's sitting in his cave, going, "This is my ex-wife, Mara Jade. She took everything, and I'm a little upset." That's what I think it might be about.
Did that
no?
kind of like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, you did.
That was a bit Beetlejuicy.
Yeah,
I like
a
this.
little bit. So this week's Duel of Fates is this one is a. We did this kind of before from a different point of view, a certain point of view. So this is breaking it down into more of a base level militaristic question. And the question I have today in this week's Duel of Fates is, what is the bigger tactical mistake? The Empire taking the fight to the Ewoks in the forest, or in New Hope, not going ship to ship early enough during the first Death Star battle? I previously asked this kind of Tarkin and the Emperor. Which one's kind of overconfidence cost the Empire more? But this is kind of more nuts and bolts on the Battle of Endor, Battle of Yavin, or Yavin. What was the
how
bigger
I like to say it.
tactical mistake? I opened up the floor. You've
a
got
tough-
notes. Miri, go for it.
I am on the fence about this one because my notes say, because I can't remember any. I can't make new memories.
Apparently past me. So.
Not going ship to ship feels like the obvious answer because
Yeah.
it chronologically happens earlier.
Sure.
So the course of events that happen beyond that would change.
Right.
However,
Yeah.
the Ewoks. I don't know. I know that George Lucas wanted to create Endor and the Ewoks because he wanted something, a force, an entity that is tribal and non-technological,
Right.
to defeat something that relies a lot on technology.
Right.
And I think that is kind of the more interesting tactical thing that maybe because the whole thing is like, oh well, they're in the forest, like whatever,
Yeah.
they can't defeat us. So there's like a cockiness and a false confidence there that I think is really interesting from a militaristic I should also add that real-time strategy games are the things I am the worst at in the world. So I probably am not I'm probably not the right person for this question. But I do feel like it's the obvious answer is to say not going ship to ship. But then I thought about it and I was like, I don't know, maybe the Ewok thing is really what screwed them over more because they were so cocksure. They walked in and they were like, these guys, you know, they're Ewoks. What do they have? They're an ancient tribe. They don't have any technology. And I know he was originally going to make it like a Wookiee.
It's always talked about, yeah.
Right? It was supposed to be Wookiee, but then the Wookiees found technology, and so that wouldn't work. So anyway, I feel like that's kind of an interesting thing. Like, well, maybe it is the battle.
And I agree. And they chose that planet because they wanted to build. It was probably far enough away, but also we can build our shield generator on this little planet.
They weren't as careful.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
So maybe Endor.
So you're going with Endor, maybe?
I'm gonna lean towards Endor.
Okay.
But I still think I might be wrong because of the chronology of it.
I think there's no wrong answer here. It's just a debate. Megan, where are you going to go?
I was gonna say Endor too for all those same reasons. I think they underestimated.
Don't underestimate the Ewoks.
The little bros.
Right.
Yeah.
The Chief Mother Effing Chirpa.
Chief Mother Effing Chirpa. It all goes back to Chief Chirpa. Anyways.
Yeah, and his battle planner. I wonder who was in charge of the military battle back then. Wasn't Logray. Well, maybe it was Logray. I don't know. I don't know. Was it Tebow or Christian Harloff's calling me and it's messing up the phone?
I was wondering what it was.
Sorry. That's me. I'm going to try to get rid of it.
That helps.
Throw that phone away. Hopefully it helps. So you're going Ewoks or taking it to the fight there. Jennifer, where are you going?
I'm going to say both. Because I feel like the Empire underestimated the Rebels' capabilities.
For sure they did.
Just throughout the trilogy, and I think that they relied. I think that they relied too much on their big on their Death Star, which obviously proved that it could not shoot the Rebel ships because they're small and agile and fast.
Yeah.
And I think with the Ewoks, why didn't the Empire partner with the Ewoks? Why didn't they?
Yeah, because they could be swayed. I mean,
maybe
they were swayable.
Yeah. So it's just like this big military going up against an insurgency, and it's a totally different style.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going with that.
Kind of the same mistake, but in both instances.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it is. I go with Endor as well because I could see that if you're Tarkin and you're sitting in that Death Star that you just took 19 years to construct, you're probably thinking it's all right. Now, no one put a little hole in the back, right? No, we're good.
There's no what was it? It was like an exhaust. Wasn't it an exhaust port? So the exhaust ports are all secure, right?
Yeah, we're all good here. Okay. And even though the guy comes up to him and was like, "We've analyzed their attack plan, and there is a danger." Don't worry about it.
Right.
I can see because
villains always do that though. Like all the James Bond villains are like, "I'm going to use this laser that's going to take 38 minutes to get from here to your crotch, and it's going to give you plenty of time to escape." They always do this.
Tarkin was kind of that classic villain. He's there in his slippers going, "No, we're good. I don't even need to
the little
escape."
Cat playing with its prey
I think that, but then I go with Endor because if the Empire had just kind of hunkered down in that bunker and let everyone take the fight to them, they wouldn't have lost.
Right.
Well, yeah.
But then we wouldn't have Star Wars.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. But that's what you answered too. You're like, it would ruin the story.
Right, it would ruin the story. Why are we even talking about this? Next topic.
But for me, it's also bad scouting on the Imperial side because they couldn't go in the forest and find that there was these traps built or these trebuchets sitting around. They couldn't figure that out because those Ewoks didn't just whip those up.
No, how do you know? They're really, really good at
I've read a lot of books about Ewok battle strategies, and I'm pretty sure they didn't.
Yet again, something you probably shouldn't say out loud. I'm just saying.
I'm working through this. That's page 300.
Certainly not on Tinder.
It's my profile pic. It's me with a num and an essay.
Are you serious?
Essay on
I'm gullible, I believe
strategy.
No, it's on my Hinge profile. So that's where I'm going with that with the Endor battle, just because it seemed like they could have just hunkered down and put that blast door down and watch as Ewoks throw rocks at
Bob's
the bunker.
Your uncle, as they say.
Exactly.
Or Bartholomew in this case.
So that's or Bartholomew.
Bubba's
Sally B. Crumb. So that is our Duel of Fates for this week. I will put up on the Facebook page and on the Twitter page as well, and Instagram as well, and Periscope as well, and Friendster as well. We'll put it out there everywhere for you guys to debate. We'll read comments and do the final tally next week on the big show. So that has been our show for this week, episode 37. Did you guys have enough fun?
No, I'd like more next time.
Okay, we'll work on some fun.
A little bit more fun.
Okay.
No, it was super fun. It was
Glad
my
to get you in
first.
there.
It was
Yeah.
my first foray.
That's
So
Won't be your last.
Lots of fun.
Won't be your last. And
back.
Jennifer, definitely not your last, right? Because next
No.
week you're returning.
May the 4th.
Are you?
Star Wars Day.
It's a great holiday.
Are you cooking those things? Sweet
I
bacon
don't know
those?
if I'm going to cook them,
You're gonna
but I will
bake 'em?
decorate them.
Okay. Whatever you got to do
Yeah.
with those Hoth
Cupcakes.
cupcakes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an honor.
Every time.
Next week is May the 4th, Monday, May the 4th, which we have turned, these Star Wars nerds with their need-numb Tinder profiles have turned this into a national holiday. And we've got a big crew. We've got Jennifer Landa's going to return. We've got Mark Ellis of Schmoes Know and AMC Movie Talk. We've got Frankie Kazarian of Ring of Honor Pro Wrestling is going to come back. We've got Joe Rizzarello's going to return as well. And the list is growing because we have a lot of area here. It's going to be a super show.
Lots of real estate.
Lots of real estate. It's going to be a fun show. We're gonna have we're just gonna celebrate Star Wars like we always do, but we're gonna do it on May the 4th live with you guys, the fans. So that's going to be fun. So before we leave, tell all the wonderful people where they can find you and what you do and where you go, Jennifer.
You can find me on Twitter at Jennifer Landa, on YouTube. Jennifer Landa. Basically put in my name. That's where you'll find me.
It's good branding.
Yeah.
And please check out her YouTube page for her fun videos on Star Wars and other things as well. It's not just Star Wars, but it's mostly Star Wars.
Mostly Star Wars.
Learn to make a Wookiee teeny and all that kind of stuff. And we will gladly tweet it out here through Jedi Alliance so our fan base can enjoy what you do there. Sorry I missed you at Celebration, though. I know you
me
were in line
too.
for toys.
I was. 3 hours. Oh, wow.
But we survived. Miri? Where are you? Where can they find you? I know you're going to be with the Schmoes this Thursday.
I'm going to be on Schmoes this Thursday. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Periscope at Miri the Jedi.
That's right. Miri the Jedi. She was born to the pot.
I am kin of the Jedi.
That's right. Megan Finley, my Sally B. Crumb to my Jabba the Hutt. Where can they find you and your wonderful work?
You can find me on Twitter at Megan Finley or Instagram at Meggie Finn. And you guys should check out offbeathome.com on Star Wars Day. I have some special content. Oh, and offbeatbride.com all week is Nerd Week. So it's Star Wars weddings.
Isn't every week Nerd Week, though, really?
This is special.
It's
Star
special.
Wars Day.
It's like
and we're
extra.
stretching it out. So lots of Star Wars weddings and content and cool.
Great.
That's awesome. So check it out there. You can, of course, follow me, Ken Napzok, on Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, where I will be eating in a car outside my grocery store and videoing it for you all. It's going to be fun. And, of course, follow Jedi Alliance at Jedi_Alliance. We're also on Periscope as well. We'll do an exclusive video after this one here if you want some bonus material. Popcorn Talk. Make sure you're watching them on YouTube, youtube.com/thepopcorntalk, or excuse me, just Popcorn Talk. Profiles, guilty movie pleasures, box office breakdown, meet the movie press, Marvel movie news, DC movie news. We got the Cosplay Coach, the new show out. Wow. And the show on there's Inside the Documentary. They got a lot of shows coming out here on Popcorn Talk. The network keeps growing and growing, so make sure you follow. And then rate and review us on iTunes. And go to schmoesknow.com for all your movie news. This has been Jedi Alliance on the Popcorn Talk Network. We talk movies. Thank you for listening, because many Bothans died, as did Salacious B. Crumb, to bring you this information.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.